It's March 2026. You wake up, walk into your kitchen, and turn the dial on your stove. Nothing happens. You try again. No flame. You call your local gas agency, and they tell you they have no idea when the next cylinder will arrive. Multiply that moment by 330 million households. Across India, people are waking up to dry fuel lines and forming miles-long queues outside distribution centers before sunrise. Panic sets in quickly because the mouth is unforgiving. India relies heavily on liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, a widely used cooking fuel, and the country's reserves will run dry in exactly 22 days. The supply chain didn't break down due to a domestic logistics error. It was severed by a massive military strike launched on February 28th. The United States and Israel initiated a full-scale offensive against Iranian military and nuclear infrastructure. India had zero involvement in the planning or execution of this conflict. Yet, rockets fired thousands of kilometers away have instantly crossed international boundaries to shut down the kitchens of 1.4 billion people. To understand how a foreign war empties an Indian kitchen, look at this satellite image of the Strait of Hormuz. It is a narrow stretch of water wedged directly between Iran and Oman. At its tightest point, it spans roughly 34 kilometers. Every single day, 20 million barrels of oil, 20% of global supply, are squeezed through this small gap. Following the strikes, Iran entirely shut this waterway. Vessels are suddenly trapped, massive lines of tankers stacking up at the entrance. Severing this single transit route sent immediate shockwaves through global markets. Brent crude, the primary international oil benchmark, spiked to $126 a barrel almost overnight. When global markets panic, vulnerable importers take the hardest hit. India's exposure to this blocked strait is a massive mathematical liability. This chart breaks down India's exact gas sourcing. The country imports 60% of its cooking gas. Of that imported total, 90% flows straight through Hormuz. When you run the numbers, over half of all cooking fuel in the country originates from that one closed route. Over the last decade, the Indian government heavily promoted the PM Ujjwala Yojana. This welfare scheme transitioned over 104 million low-income households onto clean cooking gas, distributing these specific red cylinders across rural villages. That domestic health victory masked a structural hazard. The entire welfare program relied on continuous geopolitical stability in the Gulf. As the shortage hit, the government initiated emergency triage. They invoked emergency acts, forced refineries to maximize output, and imposed a 4-tier rationing system to protect household kitchens and hospitals first. This bar chart compares national backup supplies across Asia. Japan maintains 18 days of strategic gas reserves in underground facilities. South Korea holds 12 days. India entered this crisis with practically zero dedicated strategic gas reserves. Analysts had explicitly modeled this exact scenario for over a decade. The risk was documented, yet no physical storage infrastructure was constructed in time. The chaos in the streets is a direct mathematical consequence of ignoring a glaring single point of failure in the national supply chain. The fallout quickly escapes the energy sector and bleeds directly into global food markets. Half of the world's exported urea and sulfur, the raw chemical building blocks required to manufacture agricultural fertilizers, also ship through the Strait of Hormuz. A closed strait chokes off the nutrients crops need to grow. For India, this fertilizer drought coincides with the Kharif sowing season. The Kharif refers to the vital summer monsoon crops, like rice and maize. Without fertilizer, crop yields plummet, and food prices will surge for hundreds of millions of citizens. Indian policymakers cannot veto American airstrikes, dictate Iranian military strategy, or guarantee safe passage through foreign waters. To insulate the country, the domestic strategy must shift. The government has to physically construct massive underground gas storage facilities and rapidly connect households to piped natural gas, or PNG, to eliminate the reliance on imported cylinders. The permanent solution requires phasing out imported gas entirely. India will need to rapidly scale its domestic renewable energy grids, like these massive solar installations, and harness green hydrogen to manufacture fertilizer locally. A nation cannot secure its borders if it cannot fuel its kitchens. True national security requires complete energy sovereignty.